just doing a YouTube vid on how I clean my English walnuts. Big old huge tub, and we actually get this whole thing full, and then I probably had 4 5-gallon buckets full. We pick them up off the ground, and then put them in buckets and tubs and keep them under my carport to where they get pretty dry. And then we have a bunch of parrots. My wife does, really. Macaws. And they feed them these for treats quite a bit. And doggies too. This is just a video on how I clean them. The first year I moved here, I tried washing them in the sink, and that really sucked. Made a huge mess. Made a huge mess in my garbage. Now I just use a mud mixer that they use for mixing sheetrock mud. You can get them at Harbor Freight for way cheap. You can get them at Home Depot and Lowe's, but they're like probably $15. I think this one cost me at Harbor Freight like maybe $6. It doesn't need to be fancy, because all you're doing is beating up walnuts to get the husk off. So all I do is can already tell how good it's working, and a lot of times you can leave them in there and it starts getting soft. It doesn't take very long at all for it to go from crispy to soft. And I'll mix them up, let them sit, mix them up, let them sit, and then they start coming off really good. Makes it nice, gets it off really easy, and it's fast. I don't see any more big husks on any of the walnuts, so I call this usually pretty good. Once you just see them floating up and you can't see them, then pretty much you did a good enough job. I don't care if there's a little bit on it. A lot of times it just, once we dry them again, then all that falls back off. Really easy to just pick any leftovers off, but the birds just crack them and we crack them, so it doesn't really matter. Got a hole in my bucket. That sucks. Time for a new bucket. This stuff is what Indians used to stain hides with. They used to use the husks and stain their hides after they tanned them and stuff. So if you get this stuff on your clothes, it'll darken it up. I think the black walnut ones is what everybody used to use, but you could even use the husk from these to... You can see how dark it is. Then I just set up this little chicken wire. Then I got a big tub that I had some plants in years and years and years ago that have holes in the bottom. So I just hold it on there, dump it in. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. tend to leave some walnuts at the bottom, not dump it all the way out, just to try to... If you dump it all the way out, then you get everything left over in the bottom of this. Just less of a mess. But, as you can see, it does a really good job of getting all the husks off. And it's fast. That's pretty much all I care about. Goo. I just dump it in the garden. These are a bunch of leaves I collected. I actually had a huge pile of walnuts right in that area. Leaves and stuff, but now I run them over with a lawnmower. It's a lot easier to pick them up after we pick up all the walnuts we want. Then I dump them, and I'll probably still have... I probably had 50 little mini walnut trees that sprouted up. If you pretty much just bury the walnuts in the dirt, keep it watered, my sprinkler would hit everything. And had tons of them. I actually gave them away to a bunch of people that wanted English walnut trees. But this, you just move it around, and all the little leftover husks just fall right down into the bottom of this. Makes it really easy to clean them. Right now, a little bit of clean water. That's it. Tilly. That'll leave a stain, so that's why it's best to try to do it somewhere else where you don't care about if you get it stained, which I don't really care. That's about it. I'll go put that back in a bit. Yeah. Gonna let these dry in the sun. It's pretty warm out here. I'll let these dry in the tub like this. Maisie. Maisie. That's how I do it. I'll let these sit in this tub for a few hours. Then I'll probably just lay them out on this table. I want them to be a little dry before I lay them out on this, just to keep it a little cleaner. I am going to build a drying type rack with chicken wire. Maybe a couple layers, 5 feet wide, and just probably just set it up somewhere to where all I have to do is pour the bucket of walnuts on top, and they'll dry better that way. You just want to make sure you get good airflow. And I'll even... This one didn't work good at all. But as you can see, it just peels right off. So once it dries, it comes right off. For the most part, worked pretty good. Way better than trying to do it by hand. Learned my lesson. Trying to do it by hand, it sucks and it's way slow. But I've done this probably 4 times now, probably with 8 5-gallon buckets. Pretty well full. This is just 3 buckets. Worked really good. Super fast. I'll pour them out on that table to let them really dry out, and that doesn't take but a day. This is just to somewhat to let them dry off a little before I move them. Thanks for watching.